Most of us on the carnivore diet get pretty good nutrition, and I'm quite certain that my nutritional status is way better than it was 2 years ago. But I'm kind of wondering whether, because I'm not having really any dairy at the moment, whether I'm getting enough calcium. And according to Chronometer, I'm not. So I was looking at different options. And so today I'm going to have a go at making a calcium powder out of eggshells. I did try it a couple of weeks ago and managed to completely stuff it up. How did I stuff this up? Because it's pretty simple. Hi there, my name is Sue. Welcome to my channel. I've been eating a carnivore diet for just about 2 years now. And as I said, I am pretty happy with my nutritional status for the most part. My health is improving and I'm feeling pretty good. But I'm wondering whether I'm getting enough calcium because I've been logging some of my food into Chronometer and it's showing me that my calcium levels that I'm getting every day are pretty low because I'm not really having any dairy products. So I was kind of thinking about that. I'm not too concerned about it, but I had seen people talking about using eggshells to make a calcium supplement. And so I started looking into it and decided to give it a go. And I did try it a couple of weeks ago and managed to completely stuff it up. How did I stuff this up? Because it's pretty simple. Let me tell you, what I did was I was collecting my eggshells like this in a plastic bag in the freezer. So every time I had some eggs, I ate a lot of eggs. It didn't take me long to fill up a bag this big. And I was just popping them into the bag in the freezer. And when I went to process them, which the first step is to put them into boiling water and boil them for about 10 minutes, I didn't think about the fact that I still had egg white on the shells and it all cooked on the shells and then I couldn't get it off. So I'm starting again a couple of weeks later and I've got my eggshells, less of them because I realised I had way too many last time. I've got my eggshells that I've just got out the freezer. They have been washed. So each time I used them, each time I had some eggs, I washed them before I put them into the bag in the freezer. So let me show you how I'm doing this and we'll see if we can get it right this time, okay? All right, so I've just got a big saucepan here that I have just filled up with water and I'm going to pop my eggshells into that and see if I get the sink because they want to float. I remember that from last time. Okay, can you see? Oops, hang on, got to get my... Alright. So, let's try and get these into the water and get them to sink. They want to float like little boats. Now, as you can see, I'm pulling them apart because I want each one to have the boiling water come into contact with it to make sure that they're nice and sterile when they come out of the water. That's them all. Now, I'm just going to pop them on and bring that to the boil and let that boil for about 10 minutes. Now, why would we want to make our own eggshell powder calcium supplement from eggshells? The reason that it kind of got me interested was, as I said, I've been putting my food that I've been eating into Chronometer a lot of days, not every day, but a lot of days, and kind of tracking what I'm eating. And because I'm not having dairy at the moment, very little. I've had a little bit of cheese the last couple of weeks because we've had some family events that have been going on. But apart from that, I haven't been having any dairy. And so according to Chronometer, even when I'm eating quite a lot of calories, my calcium is probably only about 200 milligrams a day. Now, the RDA is between 1,000 milligrams and 1,300 milligrams, depending on whether you're male or female and what age you are. And this calcium powder that I'm making from the eggshells contains between 800 and 1,000 milligrams of calcium per teaspoon. So my thoughts on this are that, some of us probably aren't getting as much calcium as we might possibly need. And but to take a calcium supplement is not a good idea. When we take pure calcium as a supplement, it's like our bodies kind of don't know what to do with it, and it will store it in weird places, and it can cause weird things like bone spurs and kidney stones and different things. And so that's my understanding, and from what I've read over the years and looked into. And so it's not a very good idea to take calcium on its own. But this isn't calcium on its own. So this is actually a food. Like, it's always better to get our nutrition from food. And the eggshells are part of the food. Now, if you think about it, back when our ancestors were hunting and gathering, potentially if they found an egg, a nest with eggs, they wouldn't be cracking those eggs open and eating the inside. They'd probably be eating the whole thing. When you look at other carnivores out in the wild, if they find eggs, they eat the whole thing most of the time. It's not often that they leave the shell behind. They might leave a little bit, but most of the time they're eating the whole thing. And when you look at the nutrition in egg shells, there's a high amount of calcium. They are mostly calcium carbonate, but they also contain other minerals and fats and protein. So they contain a small amount of magnesium, phosphorus, and other minerals. And studies have been done that actually show that eggshell calcium is really well assimilated into the bones and into the teeth. Now, this is, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that a few weeks ago I had a tooth pulled because I broke it. And that's one of the things that I really want to improve with my this way of eating, is the strength of my teeth, and I'd like to keep the rest of my teeth for the rest of my life. And so while prior to carnivore I felt like my teeth were getting weaker, now they feel like they're getting stronger, and I just kind of figure if I can add a little bit of this calcium eggshell powder into my diet, maybe a few times a week, then that is going to help to build the strength of my teeth and the strength of my bones. The other thing to know about eggshell powder is that the membrane of the eggs also has nutrition. And the membrane of the eggs has been shown to contain chondroitin, collagen, glucosamine, and hyaluronic acid. Trouble saying that. And so that helps with joint pains and stiffness, and it's good for skin. And so, there are supplements out there that you can buy that are actually made from eggshells, and there are supplements that are out there that contain the membrane from the egg, because it's a good thing to put into our bodies. And so, if you were, rather than throw them all away in the compost or into the rubbish, you can actually just make your own eggshell powder. Now, you can feed this eggshell powder also to your chickens and to your animals. If you've got dogs or cats, you can supplement them with it as well, put that into their feed, and that's going to be making sure that they're getting enough calcium into their diets as well. So the other things that I've noticed when I've been putting my nutritional info into Carnivore is that I'm possibly a bit low on the magnesium side of things, and copper as well. And I've actually been looking into copper a fair bit lately, and I'll be doing some videos on that. So logging your food and tracking it in Carnivore is actually a really good idea, because it lets you kind of see where you're at with what you're eating and gives you some idea of where your nutritional status is. So I've got my eggshells coming up to the boil there, and once they're done, then I will carry on with how to do this. All right, so I have my eggshells here that have been boiling for about 10 minutes. As you can see, there's a little bit of egg white in there, but not a lot. Not like last time where it was all over the eggs and I couldn't get it off. So I'm going to drain these, and then I'm going to pop them onto a rack to go into the oven to dry. So I'm just going to pop them on here, and then I'll separate them, let them cool down a little bit. I guess it's probably best to put them upside down if you can, because then that way the water's draining out of them. Probably pays to be a little bit mindful. Some of them where the membrane is really attached, I've got quite a lot of water in them, and that water is really hot. Stabbed it with a knife to let the water out. If there's any egg white on them, try and get that egg white off, because otherwise you're going to have dried egg white in with them. It's probably not too big a deal, but you wouldn't want too much in there. Now that I've got them on the rack, I'm going to put them in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. Okay, so I've got my eggshells out of the oven, and here they are here. Now, there are different ways that you can do this, right from using a mortar and pestle, like that. And no, I'm not going to do that. To using a coffee grinder or a blender or a food processor. I'm going to pop mine in the Thermomix, and I'm going to blitz them up into a powder. You want them into a nice fine powder so that then you can add them to different foods and things, and you're not going to get all crunchy little bits of egg shell in your food. You know they're getting fine when you've got all powder coming out of the top of the Thermomix. So you can see in there that's pretty fine. Still just very slightly gritty, so I'm going to pop them back in again for another go. Right, so I think that it is done. So I had to blitz it a couple of times for, I think it was a total of about 30 or 40 seconds, I think. Trying to get it off the lid here. And that's, yeah, pretty fine in there. So I think that's probably enough, and I'll find out when we go to put it in something whether it's kind of got that crunchy texture or not. But yeah, that's me making eggshell calcium powder. And so I'm going to store that in a container, and I can use it in different dishes and stuff that I make. I'm probably not going to use it every day, but I'll probably use it 2 or 3 times a week maybe when I remember. And yeah, as I said, a teaspoon is between 800 and 1,000 milligrams of calcium carbonate. The tricks with this are to make sure you wash your eggshells before you freeze them. So make sure to wash them, get the egg white out, because otherwise they're going to be coated in egg white when you go to boil them. To boil them for 10 minutes, and that is to make sure there's no bacteria or anything on the shells, and then put them in the oven to dry for about 20 minutes, because you want those shells to be nice and dry before you try and blitz them up. So that's all the secrets to making sure you get your eggshell powder to work out properly. And now I'm just going to pop it in the jar. I've got a mustard jar here that I'm putting it into to store it in the pantry, and so I'm just going to get this so that you can see what I'm doing. And the secret is with my jar, is to use a dessert spoon so that it's not too wide, and I can get that eggshell powder in there without spilling it all over the sides, because I started doing it with a soup spoon and that didn't work. Right, so that's giving me about half of that mustard jar full of calcium powder. So if I want to fill that up, I'll just do another 16 or so eggshells, and that would be a full jar. So yeah, so if you like this video, make sure to subscribe. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them down below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, share with anyone who might be interested, and I thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again another day. Goodbye for now.